On the news, Kwara court sentences 5 to death over Offa robbery 6 years later. INEC presents certificate of return to Monday Okpobolo after Edo governorship election. And Senate approves establishment of Southwest Development Commission. Thank you for joining us on News Now on TV 360 Nigeria. I'm Simisola Atikun. We begin in Kwara State, where the State High Court has found the 5 suspects involved in the Offa robbery incident guilty of illegal possession of arms, armed robbery and culpable homicide. Delivering judgment on Thursday, Justice Halima Saliman held that the defendants caused the death of people, including police officers and civilians, during the April 2018 armed robbery incident in Offa, which is punishable by death. Briefing journalists, the prosecution counsel says various reasons ranging from the COVID-19 period and natural assignments given to the judge informed the long process. The representative of the defense counsel, however, says the judgment will be appealed soon. Thursday's judgment comes 6 years after some robbers stormed Offa in Kwara State, robbing at least 5 commercial banks in the community. Over 30 persons, including policemen, were killed in the robbery, while an undisclosed amount of money was also carted away from the banks. To politics, the Independent National Electoral Commission INEC has presented certificates of return to Senator Monday Okpebolo and Dennis Idahosa, the governor-elect and deputy governor-elect, respectively, of the just concluded governorship election in Edo State. The exercise, conducted by the National Commissioner in charge of Edo, Roda Gumus, on behalf of the INEC chairman Mahmoud Yakubu, authenticates the governor and his deputy as duly elected. The presentation at the INEC headquarters was witnessed by the top leadership of the ruling All Progressives Congress APC, including the national chairman Abdullahi Ganduje, Adams Oshiomhole, and Minister of Niger Delta Development Abubakar Momo. Speaking with journalists, Senator Okpebolo assured the people of Edo of his readiness to work assiduously to improve their lot.
We now have a governor who will respect our traditional institution, which is the heart of our culture. You know, we now have a governor who will not be fighting over artifacts, right? But rather he will be fighting over what is good for Edo people. We now have a governor who will not demolish a hospital and replace it with a museum. We now have a governor who understands the value of education and will not destroy libraries and replace it with a market. I mean, we can go on and on. For me, this is what excites Edo people. And once Edo people are happy, having had the rare privilege to pretend over that state, I'm happy that they have reclaimed their state from the lions that came from, because the mark himself, the iron. Now the iron of Obaseki has been melted with the combined force of Edo North, Edo Central, and Edo South, of Edo people. It can only be sweet, only very, very sweet.
The governor cross-carpeted a nomadic politician. He cross-carpeted to PDP, and today we fought for it and we have recovered our state. So we are so happy, especially that our governor-elect is an experienced politician, a distinguished senator who has a blueprint for the development of Edo State, and we assure you, you will see great changes.
Okpebolo, who was accompanied by Oshiomhole, then proceeded to the presidential villa in Abuja to formally introduce himself as the newly elected governor of Edo State to President Bola Tinubu.
I am excited not to live for the fact that we have reclaimed Edo State, almost in the same manner that we reclaimed it for PDP in 2007, before Obaseki took it away back from us. My joy is the fact that Edo people will now have a governor that they can hug, they can touch, they can feel, and a governor that will open the doors. Edo people now have a governor that will not send pregnant women to jail on account of 20,000 naira fine by a mobile court, and the woman end up delivering inside prison. We have a man with compassion, with human feeling. Because governance is not just about building roads and schools. Is that human touch, a governor with empathy, humble enough to recognize that public trust is not like a corporate chief executive. Corporate chief executive can behave the way he wants because he has the business because it is his father's money. But public trust, the vote of the laborer and the vote of the professor, the vote of the pauper, the beggar, and the vote of the wealthiest person, one man, one vote is equal. And so we have a governor who understands this.
I think Edo people have spoken with their vote. For me, I'm coming as a servant to serve the Edo people. That is what is required of me. And that is what exactly I'm going to do. So very soon, you will see a lot of development coming up in Edo. We are going to employ teachers. We are going to renovate our schools. We are going to... A lot will be happening over time. So with time, you recognize that a new dawn has happened.
Amid the bribery allegations leveled against the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) and the Nigerian Correctional Service by social media influencer Martins Ote, popularly called Very Dark Man, the House of Representatives has resolved to investigate the case. The resolution of the House follows the adoption of a motion of urgent public importance on Thursday, sponsored by the member representing Akwa Ibom on the platform of the All Progressives Congress, Patrick Umor. While expressing concern over the widely circulated publication by Very Dark Man against the EFCC and the NCS, Umar said the negative image and portrayal of Nigeria as a corrupt nation is one that should not be swept under the carpet. Following the adoption of the motion, Speaker Tajuddin Abbas, who presided over the plenary session, referred it to the Committees on Financial Crimes and Reformatory Institutions. They are to report to the House within 3 legislative weeks for further action. Ahead of Nigeria's 64th independence celebration on October 1, the federal government has announced a lineup of activities to mark the day, stating that event will be low-key, in line with the current mood of the nation. Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Senator George Akume, disclosed this when he inaugurated an interministerial for the celebration. According to the SGF, lined-up activities will afford the government the opportunity to showcase to Nigerians its scorecard recorded within the short period in office to reposition Nigeria through its reform initiatives to deliver the dividends of democracy.
Like several other nations, we are currently grappling with diverse challenges, but we remain resolute in our inalienable destiny to build a strong and proud country that works for the good of all citizens, irrespective of status, tribe, religion, and creed. Let me assure you that this administration shall remain committed to its promise of working sacrificially to deliver the dividends of democracy to every Nigerian citizen.
Despite some challenges, we have weathered the storm and remained committed to democratic values and showcasing the maturity of our political system. Under the visionary leadership of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, we have initiated transformative policies and reforms aimed at correcting the missteps of the past and reposition Nigeria as an economic superpower in the near future. Despite global economic headwinds and the transitional pains accompanying some of the reforms, the President has remained focused in his efforts towards reviving our economy and returning the country to the path of prosperity and sustained growth.
Meanwhile, the federal government says it is making concerted efforts to reduce food importation into the country. The Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edun, revealed this while fielding questions at the interministerial press briefing as part of activities to mark Nigeria's 64th independence anniversary, assuring the long-term agricultural goals of the federal government is already yielding results. Edun said that although the effect of the fuel subsidy removal has been tough on Nigerians, the government has embarked on several interventions to cushion the hardship by the direct payment of 75,000 naira to 15 million households. In response to the hunger crisis and malnutrition in the country, the Nigerian Red Cross Society, with support from the International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies, has launched an emergency appeal to assist the most vulnerable persons across Nigeria. Speaking during a press briefing, chairperson of the Nigeria Red Cross Lagos branch, Adebola Kolawole, says the organization aims to raise 2.5 billion naira to scale up its operations and deliver life-saving assistance to the regions most severely affected by the crisis. She added that the funds will also contribute to sustainable programs designed to equip families and communities with the necessary tools to recover, rebuild, and become more resilient to future crises, fostering both short-term relief and long-term stability.
The Nigeria Red Cross Society will launch a fundraiser under the theme Keeping Humanity Alive. Due to a combination of factors which are conflict, drought, and inflation, many people will suffer hunger this year. Last year, the figure of people at risk was 26.5 million. Now it is 31.5 million. However, you must understand that last year, the major issue that prevented many from farming was the fear of conflict. However, this year, people are faced with drought and inflation in addition, so the figure of at-risk people has spiked. As far as hunger is concerned, Nigeria is at a tipping point. Over 31.5 million people are at the risk of severe hunger, driven by the impacts of conflict, climate change, displacement, and inflation.
We tend to place more emphasis on the women and the elderly in the society and those that are sick. So our volunteers will go into the various communities all over Nigeria. We identify them. We work closely with the community leaders in the various communities to identify those that will be beneficiaries. Once that is done, we have all their details. For the cash transfer, we work with banks and other financial institutions.
In other stories, the Senate has passed the Southwest Development Commission Establishment Bill 2024, a move that will expedite action on the infrastructural development of the region. The passage follows the presentation of a report by the chairman of the Senate Committee on Special Duties, Kaka Shehu Lawan, during plenary on Thursday. In his presentation, Kaka explained that the bill is designed to foster the socio-economic development of the Southwest region.
That the intent and purpose of the bill are well structured and strategically streamlined for the socio-economic development of the Southwest geopolitical zone of this country. And 3, that the establishment of the commission will bring the federal government closer to the Southwest states as well as meet the yearning and aspirations of the people. Recommendation. The committee, having considered the proposed bill and taking into account the relevance of the Southwest Development Commission, the committee resolved that the Southwestern geopolitical zone of this country should have one, and accordingly recommends that the Senate to consider and pass the Southwest Development Commission Establishment Bill SB 102.
I feel that will, when passed into law, will help to really deal with the challenges being faced by the southwestern part of this country, infrastructure challenges, ecological challenges, and so on and so forth, and will help to put that region in the best place to have an environment that will be conducive for the people in that region, and it will, once that region is well developed, it also affects the entire nation, because whatever is done positively to any part of Nigeria is something that is done to the entire country.
The Committee for Defense of Human Rights, in collaboration with the Center for Anti-Corruption and Open Leadership, has agreed that combating corruption is a collaborative effort that requires the active participation of individuals. The groups made this known at its monthly Stakeholders Interactive Roundtable on Public Policy Making and Execution on Thursday in Lagos, aimed at addressing critical gaps in public understanding of corruption, reporting mechanisms, and public enlightenment to empower citizens on active engagement in the fight against corruption. Speaking on the theme, fighting corruption in a complex society like Nigeria, deficiencies in public awareness of the corruption reporting system, members of the groups say commitment is not just for the short term, but must be sustained to ensure effectiveness.
The government has made efforts to minimize corruption through the enactment of laws and the enforcement of integrity systems, but with only a little success. Greed, ostentatious lifestyle, customs, and people's attitude are believed to have led to corruption. Another root cause of corruption is tribalism. Friends and kinsmen seeking favor from officials can impose strains on the ethical disposition of the officials, as these kinsmen see government offices as holding avenues for their survival and gains. The idea of focusing on issues of national importance, policies and activities, and gathering people to discuss it is anchored on the determination to ensure that the common man on the street is not shortchanged by government policies, and encourages an all-embracing, all-inclusive implementation of government's policies so as to enhance the socio-economic well-being of the people of the state.
In this country, we look at some people above the law. Why somebody will steal a handkerchief in the market and you take him to court, or Yahoo boy that's did something and collected money from a white woman somewhere, you run after him to take him to jail. Why we have people that have taken a huge resources, our budget, padded budget, how many of them are in jail? How many of them are in prison? How many of them are in court? Are we all doing the right thing is the next question. Are we doing all this? If the government, had put this effort, how well the citizens, you and I, how well have we put this into practice?
We'll go on a short break, but still to come, Japanese court acquits longest-serving death row prisoner. Stay with us for details of this story when News Now returns. Welcome back. Here's a recap of our top stories. The Kwara State High Court has found the 5 suspects involved in the Offa robbery incidents guilty of illegal possession of firearms, armed robbery, and culpable homicide. The representative of the Defense Counsel, however, says the judgment would be appealed soon. Thursday's judgment comes 6 years after some robbers stormed Offa in Kwara State, robbing at least 5 commercial banks in the community. Over 30 persons, including policemen, were killed in the robbery, while an undisclosed amount of money was also carted away by the bank from the banks. We also informed you that the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has presented certificates of return to Senator Monday Okpebholo and Dennis Idahosa, the governor-elect and deputy governor-elect, respectively, of the just concluded governorship election in Edo State. The presentation at the INEC headquarters was witnessed by the top leadership of the ruling All Progressives Congress APC, including the national chairman Abdullahi Ganduje, Senator Adams Oshomole, and Minister of Niger Delta Development Abubakar Momo. In case you missed any of our news bulletins, so for more updates, you can catch us on Limex World TV and AVO TV, or log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at TV360 Nigeria, or download our mobile app on Google Play Store, Huawei App Gallery, and Apple Store. On Facebook, we're at TV360 Online. Some more stories in the world of business. Over to you, Victoria.
Thank you very much, Simi. Welcome to Business News. Now, in a move that has stunned the financial markets, the Central Bank of Nigeria's Monetary Policy Committee has further raised the interest rate by 50 basis points to 27.25%. The governor of the CBN, Yemi Cardoso, who doubles as the chairman of the MPC, disclosed this and other key decisions at the end of its 297th meeting in Abuja on September 23rd and 24th, 2024. Cardoso says the decision to further tighten the monetary policy was a unanimous one by members of the Monetary Policy Committee, premised on recent events in the economy regarding inflation and stability of the foreign exchange market. TV360's correspondent Okpayemi Osheni brings us more in the next report.
The primary objective of the CBN's 297th MPC meeting was to assess risks to the economic outlook and make necessary policy adjustments. Contrary to general expectations, the MPC unanimously decided to raise the CBN's interest rate by 50 basis points to 27.25% in light of ongoing inflationary pressures. The CBN governor lists other reasons for the increase on the Apex Bank's interest rate.
Retain the asymmetric corridor around the MPR at plus 500 to minus 100 basis points. 3, raise the cash reserve ratio of deposit money banks by 500 basis points to 50% from 45%, and merchant banks by 200 basis points to 16% from 14%.
Cardoso says although headline inflation has eased due to lower food prices, core inflation remains high, largely due to rising energy costs and forex challenges, which are undermining price stability, prompting the rate hike.
To attract investments into the economy, efforts must be sustained to achieve a positive real interest rate. This would enhance the economy's competitiveness for international capital, thereby improving the exchange rate. The MPC applauded the ongoing efforts of the federal government of Nigeria to bridge the supply deficit through duty-free import window for food commodities.
Cardoso reiterates the CBN's commitment to addressing inflation effectively, while assuring the Apex Bank is doing everything possible to ensure adequate cash in circulation.
On bringing down inflation, and we would use all the tools in our disposal to ensure that that happens. We are not going to spare any effort in doing that. The numbers clearly show that we are heading in the right direction. Okay, it's the fact that we are seeing the reductions and the deceleration over the course of the last couple of months is very, very good news.
The CBN governor also attributes the increase in remittance inflows to the Apex Bank's decision to license more international money transfer operators.
And that there was a need for central bank itself to see what it could do with respect to encouraging inflows into the system. And IMTOs was one of those sectors where we liberalized and encouraged the operators in that sector to open accounts, and we are normally dealing with them on a regular basis to ensure that that number begins to go up.
The next MPC meeting is scheduled for November 25th and 26th, 2024. The continuous monitoring of economic indicators and global development will be vital in shaping future policy responses. Okbayemi Owosheni, TV360 News, Lagos.
We'll go on a short break and be back with stock market reports. Welcome back. It's the fourth weekday of trading and the Nigerian equities market has entered bearish territory for the first time this week after 3 consecutive days of gains. The market declined by 0.46% and market capitalization now stands at 56.62 trillion naira. In total, 120 equities listed on the NGX market participated in today's trading, with 28 stocks closing as gainers and 27 as losers. Capitol Offshore led the decline with 9.73%, closing at 2.97 naira per share, followed closely by Cadbury Nigeria. At the end of today's trading session on the Nigeria Stock Exchange market, 344 million volumes of shares in 9,005 deals, corresponding to a market value of over 6 billion naira, were traded. When compared with the previous trading day, which is Wednesday, today's data shows a 40% decline in volume, 47% decline in turnover, and 7% decline in deals. Now, onto our global stage. The picture is more positive as all our select equities close in the bullish territory, recovering from yesterday's losses. And now straight to the foreign exchange market. The Naira traded at 1,695 Naira against the US dollar on the black market, while the British pound stood at 2,270 Naira and the euro at 1,860 Naira. That's it on both business and stock market reports. Back to you, Simi, for the rest of the news.
Thank you very much, Victoria. And on the forest, in the world's longest serving death row prisoner has been acquitted on Thursday, more than half a century after his murder conviction, when a Japanese court ruled that evidence had been fabricated. Ailing health had prevented the 88-year-old former boxer Iwao Hakamada from being in court to learn the outcome of his retrial, which was granted a decade ago after a long campaign by supporters. Hakamada spent 46 years on death row after being convicted in 1968 of robbing and killing his boss, the wife, and their 2 teenage children. In sports, Nigeria's under-19 cricket team, the junior female Yellow Greens, will face their rivals from East Africa, Rwanda, in one of the semi-finals of the 2025 ICC Women's World T20 Under-19 World Cup qualifier Division 1 on Saturday. Having qualified with a game to spare on Monday, the junior female Yellow Greens cemented the top spot in Group B of Division 1 on Wednesday with a comprehensive 86-run win over Malawi, setting up the last 4 clash against Uganda/Rwanda, who finished second in Group A. The winner of the qualifying tournament will pick Africa's second ticket to the World Cup in Malaysia, after South Africa had booked their place as one of the top finishers from the last World Cup. Meanwhile, the draw for the 2024-2025 Carabao Cup 4th round has produced several exciting fixtures, including a blockbuster clash between Tottenham Hotspur and Manchester City, while holders Liverpool face a tricky trip to Brighton. The tournament follows a knockout format. After the 4th round, typically featuring the last 16 teams, the competition moves into the quarterfinals. 4th round matches are set to take place in the week commencing October 29. At this stage, the remaining 8 teams will compete in single elimination matches, with winners advancing to the semi-finals. That's all on News Now. Many thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.